Guys, what's up? It's Rick Pete. I'm back, as you can see, and as the video title sort of says, this is a bit of an explanation as to why I've been away. Apologise in advance if you hear any noise in the background or any jets flying over. We're on the main flight path for the Leeds Bradford Airport, and as you can see, I'm sat outside making the most of the sun that we've got over here at the moment. Today's probably the coolest day we've had. It's about 14 degrees apparently. So, but yeah, back to the reason for my video. That is to basically describe, explain why I've not been as active for a few months now. And that is basically because I went to the doctors about not long after I did my last video. Maybe a little bit after I did my last video, about 2 months ago, and I was having a lot of trouble. I just wasn't feeling myself. A girlfriend had noticed a difference in me, and so I booked a doctor's appointment. She came along with me, sat and chatted with the doctor. He asked her a few questions. She told him what she'd noticed, and essentially I was re-diagnosed with depression. So I've had a bit of a break from YouTube, basically just to try and sort of get my head around it, as somewhat ironic as that may sound. And I decided that, probably the best thing to do is just sort of try and carry on as normal. Anybody who's friends with me on Facebook will have seen that recently I put a status up saying that my medication had been upped. So that's, don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Obviously the medication I was on before was doing nothing, and so the doctor that I saw last week upped my medication to a slightly stronger dose. So we'll see what that does. But I just wanted to basically just sort of explain why I'd not been as active, and basically just that I've been in a bit of a dark place recently, and I'm lucky in that I've not had any suicidal thoughts or thoughts of ending my life. Obviously, there's a big thing about mental health at the moment, and I'm not jumping on the bandwagon for that. This is the second time I've been diagnosed. Sorry if you can hear that, it's one of the jets going back into the airport. Yeah, this is the second time I've been diagnosed with depression. The first time was about 8 years ago. I was first diagnosed with depression, and I managed to get myself sorted. I got myself a job. The main causes back then were I was jobless, I was single, I was seeing all my mates, all with girlfriends and everything, and that got to me. I was out of work and obviously having no money was getting to me, but the biggest catalyst was when I lost my nan. Anybody who's been watching my channel from the beginning will know that my nan was she was everything. She was my best mate. She was somebody I could go to if anything was bothering me. She was just everything for me. She was just there, and there isn't a day goes by where I don't miss her and I don't think about her, and I sometimes wish that, I always wish that she was still around, but especially now that I'm sort of sorted, I've got myself a girlfriend, I've got my own little family. So yeah, but that was the first time I was diagnosed, and then I got myself a job, and I met my girlfriend, who I've been with 9 years this year, and it all sort of went away. I did get a tattoo done on my arm. It's basically just the scroll. You can't really see it for the bit of sunlight that's coming through. It's just a scroll on my arm which basically says "Rise Above." It was kind of inspired by Edge, the wrestler. I was just looking at sort of getting something done, but I wanted it to be something meaningful as well, and that kind of struck meaning because I had risen above the depression, I'd risen above being out of work, and I'd risen above being single, so everything had sort of gone my way. Where we are, 2018, and I'm back in that rut again, but I've got you know, a brilliant girlfriend who, you know, herself unfortunately is a clinical depressive, and like, she was so easy to, you know, she was so quick and to see the signs in me. Basically, yeah, I won't go too much into it because it's her thing, but she's a clinical depressive. Mine's circumstantial, which is somewhat easier to deal with. It took me a while to sort of come out with what it was that was making me miserable, and for various reasons I can't really go into it on here. But it was mostly one thing, but little other things as well seemed to contribute. I know there are millions of people all over the planet who live every day with depression, and then there are those, you know, kids that go around saying, "Oh, I'm depressed and, you know, I want to end my life and stuff," just to get sympathy from people, and it's wrong. It's just so wrong. I mean, I've got friends who are depressives. Like I said, my girlfriend is a depressive. And you've only got to look at what it does to people. You know, you look at the likes of, you know, Robin Williams, who unfortunately killed himself due to various things, but, you know, he was a massive depressive. Chris Cornell killed himself. Not long after that, Chester Bennington. And I think a lot of people seem to be jumping on the bandwagon, trying to get some sort of attention from it, I suppose would be the right word. But it's not something that you should fake. It's a real thing, you know. And living in the head of somebody who suffers from it is not a nice thing, you know. Some days, mornings, I wake up and, like I said, I've no sort of desire to end my own life, but there have been days when I've woke up and been like, shit, here we go, another day. There are days where I just don't want to do anything, but unfortunately, you know, my youngest can't take himself to school, so I go take him to school, and then I'll come home and sometimes just set my alarm, go back to sleep because I don't want to do anything. Other times I'll watch a film. Other times I've been known to just ride around on buses, just listening to my iPod and reading. You know, go to different places and just go and walk around if I'm feeling like I'm having a good day. But I say on a bad day, I just come home and just mooch about the house until it's time to go pick the little one up from school again, and it's no fun. Never knowing what one day is going to bring, what sort of mood you're going to be in, or, you know, anything like that. It's just it's not no fun. It's and for those who do it for the attention, you know, that essentially put it on and fake it, you've no idea. If you actually lived one day in the head of somebody who suffers from depression, then you'd probably, if you had anything about you, realise that, you know, it's not something to try and get attention from. It's not nice. You know, depression is a horrible illness, and it's only recently that people are starting to accept that it is an illness. You know, it isn't what it was once stigmatised as, but it still isn't pleasant. Like I said, there are millions of people out there, and like I've said, I'm lucky that I've no aspirations to end my own life, but there are people out there that don't see any other way. And if any of you watching this do suffer from depression, and you ever have thoughts of ending your own life, please don't do it. Don't do it. Don't be another statistic. Speak out. As a man, it is harder to open up, because, you know, men are supposed to be, you know, tough, strong. You know, aren't supposed to get upset. And as the old adage, as my girlfriend quite rightly puts it, that, oh, boys don't cry. Boys do cry. You know, and if that gets me some flack for being, you know, less of a man, then so be it. But I've cried, and I know it just mean obvious things like, you know, funerals and stuff like that. One of the first signs of my depression that my girlfriend noticed was that I was getting really emotional. I could listen to a song and my eyes would fill up, and I wouldn't necessarily cry, but I'd get upset from it. The main song that did it for me was "One More Light" by Linkin Park. They released not just after Chester passed. And listening to the words of that song, it was just, it just got me, and I did actually cry listening to that song. So there have been other songs that have just made my eyes sort of water up a bit. Certain songs that I've listened to, and silly little things like they remind me of being a kid, and I get a bit, teary-eyed at some of them, and others just make me smile, which is always a good thing. But for anybody out there, like I said, who's seriously thinking of ending your own life, don't do it. Don't become another statistic. There are people out there to help. I don't know about you guys in the States. I'm pretty sure there will be plenty of places that you can ring. I mean, like this Samaritans, I think, is like a worldwide organisation. In the UK, we have Mind, who were the first people I reached out to once I'd been diagnosed. I rang them straight away and spoke to somebody, and they went through like a set of questions with me, and one of them was, are you planning on taking your own life? And it's like, no, I'm not. I'm unhappy on certain days. I'm miserable, but I'm not suicidal. I have, the way I look at it, I have my girlfriend and the kids to think about. I couldn't put them through that. If I was single, I don't know, it'd be a different story. Quite possibly be a different story, but as it does, I have them to think about. And you see things, or you read about things like in the papers, or you see stuff on the news, and you see it on the internet, so and so's killed themselves, they left a note, it's depression, and you get people saying, oh, why didn't they come and talk to me? It's hard. You can't always go and talk to people. I mean, I've always bottled things up in my life. It's only really the last couple of years that I've sort of felt like I can talk to my girlfriend. I mean, we've been together, like I said, 9 years this year. 7 years of that, I kept things bottled up, and I'd just blow. I'd never do anything violent to her or the children. I'd just get angry, shout a bit, and walk away, and just tell her to leave me alone. And she knew, that I just needed time to calm down. Or sometimes after a while, she realised, just let him go, calm down, he'll come back down and talk when he's ready. And I have, like I say, it took 7 years before I got into that position. But there is help out there for any of you who suffer from depression. Even if you think you may, or you've noticed you're not feeling yourself, go to your doctor. Your GP won't turn you away. So there is help out there for everybody and anybody. It's a shame to see that people think that the only way out is to end their own lives, and it's not. There is help there. It's not always easy to ask for it. I do appreciate that, but I think it's a shame, like people like Chester Bennington and Chris Cornell and all the others, not just celebrities, there are millions of people every day who don't see any other way out. But it's hard. It is hard to open up and say, yeah, I'm not myself, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. But there are people out there that will listen. If you don't think you can turn to your family, go to friends. Yeah, the first time round when I got diagnosed with depression, I wasn't on talking terms with my mum. I didn't have anything to do with it. That was my choice. I was living with my dad, and my brother was living with his girlfriend at the time. And my dad noticed something wasn't right. I went to the doctors and I got diagnosed, like I said, and basically put me on tablets. And when I saw my dad, he says, "What did the doctor say?" I told him, and my dad sort of born early 50s, so like he was sort of growing up in the 60s and about the 70s and everything. He was an adult, and to that generation and generations before that, mental illness is just one of those things that they didn't really deal with. It seems to have come out more like 80s, 90s, and definitely these days, where they can say, no, this is what's wrong, we can give you this tablet, you know, you take that every day. Like I take one tablet a day, and that sort of is supposed to keep me level. Yeah, I mean, there are people that take really strong doses, but if that's what it takes, one tablet a day, to keep somebody on this planet, it's well worth it, you know. But yeah, going back, yeah, my dad didn't know how to deal with it. He didn't have a clue, so he just says, what do I do? You don't do anything. So I take my tablet and I just carry on as best I can. And that was it. So my dad's generation, I'm like, don't treat me like, you know, I'm made of glass, I'm not going to break, just be normal around me. And he did his best. My brother is only a few years younger than me, he's 3 years younger than me. He obviously had a better idea, and he was the same. A couple of my friends, I told them, they were like, right, fine, fair enough, well, at least, you know, we know why sometimes you're quiet or you don't want to do anything. That's fine. We just thought you were just, you know, being antisocial. But, you know, they knew. One of my, I'm not going to say my best friend is, because sometimes, like, well, they say family isn't always blood, and it isn't. I'm lucky that I've got some very good friends that, you know, well, they are brothers, they're just not blood. One of those was there for me the whole way through. His mum was like a second mum to me. I used to get text messages once a week, you know, hiya, how's things, when you're coming over again? And, you know, my mate would take me over to his house whenever he could. I always spent, at one point I spent more weekends over at his than I did at home, which, you know, didn't bother me, because, you know, he knew what depression was like. And yeah, he really brought me through it. And yeah, he was there for me, and like where I am now. I don't see a lot of my friends because they live miles away and everybody has their own life going on, but, you know, I keep in touch with them, and I've told my closest friends what's going on, and my brother knows. Luckily I'm back in touch with my mum. That happened a few years ago. My girlfriend says to me, look, you know, end of the day, you've only got one life and you only have one mum. So I got back in touch with my mum, and we're probably closer than we ever have been, and she's been great. My stepdad has been absolutely amazing, and, you know, I've got a lot of support, both from mostly from my girlfriend, because she sees me every day, but I know if anything's bothering me, I can ring my mum or drop a text message to one of my friends, and they'll get back to me and, you know, have a chat with me and everything. And they've all said, you know, if you need anything, don't hold back. So that's what I'm saying, for those of you out there who don't feel like there's any other way out, there is always a way. There's always somebody to talk to. And yeah, it might not be easy to just go up to your friends and say, look, you know, this is what's up with me, but don't feel like it makes you any less of a man if you are male, or, you know, makes you any less of a person. It's, you know, we all need help sometimes, and I'm just glad that I'm in the position I am now with my own little family, because if I'd have been on my own, I don't know if I'd be here making this video now. But yeah, there is help out there, and please encourage all of you to please go and get help. Speak to family, friends, doctor, anyone that you feel comfortable to. Just sit down, have a chat with them and tell them what's going on, because like I've said, it's not easy to live with. It's not something I'd choose to go through, and it sure as hell isn't something I'd fake to try and get attention, either with my friends at school or college or on social media. I have absolutely no time for teenagers and kids who, you know, start throwing around the social media that they're going to kill themselves, they've had enough of life, and blah 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 blah. It's just like, no, you just, you know, attention seeking, that's just shit, basically. So yeah, that'll probably do it for this video. I've gone on for about, you know, 20 minutes now or something like that. So yeah, that's basically just the reason why I have not been as active. But I'm hoping, well, I've got a couple of videos lined up. The my recent mental state has sort of opened me up to a lot of, I'm going to say new music, but some of them are bands that have been around for years that I just never listened to, and then all of a sudden just found myself watching videos on YouTube. So, you know, managed to get their albums, some DVDs of some of them live and stuff like that. So there'll probably be some videos coming up on that. Like I say, I have a couple of ideas planned. I may start doing some film reviews, but not so much like newer stuff. I am hoping to go see Deadpool 2 with my girlfriend, so I may probably do a review video on that when it happens. May even be able to get her to appear in it. I don't know yet, but like I say, I have a few ideas lined up for things. So yeah, basically just thanks for watching this. You know, to all my new subscribers, thank you for subscribing. I hope you find plenty of stuff on the channel that you enjoy. Yeah, this is definitely going to do it for this video now, guys. But like I said, if you are suffering, please go out and get some help, because it's not worth becoming another statistic. So yeah, that'll do it for now, guys. As always, I'll be back soon with a new video, and until then, stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Yeah, that'll do it. Bye for now, guys.